Hey guys, you might have seen the leaves animation that I did on my iPad. It got more than 10 million views across all the social networks, and I got so many comments from people asking me about how I did this animation. So in this video I'm gonna show you the full process of creating this animation in Procreate app on the iPad Pro. I start with a blank dark background and use Studio Pen brush. First, I will draw really subtle stones that might be hard to see for you. Add some lighting to the stones and make an abstract shape of the tree trunk using white color. This will be our sketch. Now decrease the opacity, create new layer and choose the main color of the tree trunk. Outline the sketch and make sure that the shape you get is closed, so we can fill it in by dragging the color inside, and delete the sketch layer. I want to add some shadows to the tree trunk. To do this, create a new layer and activate clipping mask so we can draw only inside the shape of the tree. I will use the more saturated darker version of the current color. Simply draw the closed shapes and fill in with the shadows color. Now pick a lighter color to add light spots the same way. Then we need to outline the place for tree leaves. Create a new layer and draw some arcs. Then let's add the moon. To do that, create a new layer and move it to the bottom of the list of layers. Pick a subtle orange color, draw a circle and hold in the end of the path to activate Quick Shape tool. To make it a perfect circle, click on the Edit Shape button here and hit Circle. Click somewhere to deselect the circle and drag and drop the color to fill the shape. Then I will adjust the position and size by clicking on the arrow icon. Using two fingers, pinch to decrease the size and using one finger, move it to the left. Click on the arrow icon to deselect. Now I'm gonna add some glow to the moon. Click on the layer icon. Swipe left on the moon layer, click duplicate and select the lower one. Now click the magic wand icon, Gaussian blur. Click and drag from left to right to increase the effect. Double click on the magic wand icon to exit the mode. I wanna multiply the glowing effect. To do this, I duplicate the glowing moon layer and using two fingers merge two layers. It's time to add clouds. Select the moon shape layer and create a new layer. Get the current background color by clicking and holding your finger for a moment on it. Now adjust to make it a bit lighter and test it. Adjust it a bit more. And I think this one is good to go. Then create the closed shapes of our clouds and fill them with the color just like we did before. I will place this layer below the moon layer and decrease the opacity, because I think my clouds turned out to be too bright. Finally, it's time to draw the tree leaves. I will pick a bright red color as a base. But before we start to draw, let's group all our background layers for a better layer structure. Select all layers by swiping to the right on each one. Click on the group button. Click on the name of the group to rename it. Now I'm gonna show you a cool technique to create a tree crown. Let's create a new layer. Decrease the brush size and draw a shape of the leaf. Fill it with the color. I will finalize the shape with a razor tool. Now pick a darker color. Try one more time. Yeah, this one will work. Create a new layer. Click on the layer preview icon and choose clipping mask. And draw the leaf skeleton. To add the texture, I will use the Eagle Hope brush. It's a free brush that goes with Procreate 5. Select the leaf shape layer, click on the preview icon and choose Alpha Lock option to draw only inside the current shape, and finally add some texture to the leaf. Then just merge both layers. Using the same technique, create a few more leaves with slightly different color and shape. I ended up with 4 different leaves that should be enough to make the tree crown. Now duplicate each leaf 2 times. Move the original layers below duplicates. Select all duplicates and move them closer to the tree top. Then let's create the first bunch of leaves. To do that, move each leaf one by one to the arc we created in the beginning. Also, adjust the size, rotation, position, and you can even flip some leaves to get more variety. Place each leaf on top of each other. Change the layer order if you need to bring some leaves to the front or to the back. I will create a few more duplicates of the leaves to add them to the bunch. Let's group our original leaves and hide them. I will add more volume to the bunch by creating the shadows from the front leaves with the darker color. If you see a gap in the bunch, move the leaves to cover it. When the bunch is ready, merge all the leaves layers. Now, the same way that we created a bunch made of leaves, we will create the tree crown using our bunch. Duplicate the bunch layer multiple times, adjust the size, flip it, and position it to fill the gaps inside the arc contour. Just in case, find and hide the original layer. Then merge all other bunches. Duplicate the tree crown layer, flip it and place it to the right side and make sure that there are no gaps left on our tree top. To add more volume, create another bunch of leaves. Create a new layer with clipping mask option and using a bigger brush, fill it with a dark color. Change the blending mode to multiply and adjust the opacity by clicking on the N letter on the layer. Let's add some leaves to the background. Duplicate the tree crown layer and place it to the background group right below the tree trunk. Do it multiple times. Once again, create an empty layer with clipping mask, fill it with a dark color and select multiple blending mode. Decrease the opacity. Finally, let's group all the front layers, which will be our foreground. That's it, we are done with the illustration and I'm ready to start animating. Create a new layer between background and foreground. Now I'm gonna draw the path for the leaf to move across, using white color, and decrease the opacity of the layer to make it subtle. And I will place the layer to the background group and make sure that the clipping mask is off. Create a new layer which will be the first frame of our animation. Before we move on, click on the foreground group, which should be at the top of our list of layers, and select Animation Foreground option, because we want this group to be visible and static on all frames of our animation. And do the same thing for the background group, select Animation Background option. Now we need to turn on the Animation Assist tool, which is located under the Rec icon in Prefs tab. When you turn it on, you will see the animation timeline and settings in the bottom of the screen. I want the leaf to fall down this path and slow down a bit on the turns. My leaf will be yellow on one side and red on the back. Let's start with the yellow color. First, I will create an animation of a line, which will be a skeleton of our leaf. Draw a line here, click plus button to create the second frame. We don't see the first frame now, so let's enable an onion skin option that shows the previous frames of the animation. Since I wanna see all previous frames, I set it to the max and adjust the opacity. Frames per second option allows us to control the speed of the animation. Frames per second option allows us to control the speed of the animation. Now I'm gonna draw the line of the second frame. Go to the next frame and draw the line a bit more distant from the previous one, because we want to make it accelerated. And the next one is even more distant. On the sixth frame, we start to go up, so we need to slow down. So draw it less distant from the previous one. And draw the next few closer to each other, until there is no distance between them. Let's see what we have now. And play with the settings to test it out. When we create a new frame, a new layer is created automatically. So one layer is one frame. Now let's complete the movement. The same way, accelerating when we go down and slowing down when we go up. Eventually, the motion should look like this. The speed is too slow, let's increase the frame rate. Now I'm gonna do the shape of the leaf. Turn off the onion skin to not get distracted. Select any frame in the middle and let's add the shape of the leaf to the line using the same brush and color, just like we did in the beginning. You can see that we've got the shape of the leaf only on one frame. Now we need to draw a leaf shape for every frame starting from the beginning. Also, I will get back the onion skin property to help me get the right proportions of the leaf for every frame. Here, to get the more realistic motion, I want to rotate the leaf a bit, so here it will be almost flat. And back to the normal shape again. Now we have a few keyframes and we need to finalize the transitions by completing all the frames in between of them. We can move and rotate the shapes on each frame to make the motion more smooth. And make sure that the size of the leaf is the same comparing with the first one we created. Always test your animation before you move on to the next steps. On this frame, I want the leaf to flip to the back. On this frame, I also want to see the back of the leaf. On this frame, I want it to start to go backwards. Create another keyframe and here make a U-turn again. And now let's add all the rest of transition frames. Let's play the animation to see what we've got and check if you like the movement. Now we need to add detail and texture to the leaf, frame by frame. As I said before, I want the leaf to be yellow on one side and red on the other, so let's pick red color and recolor the leaf on the first frame. And add the texture using alpha lock and a different brush, just like we did before. On this frame, I want the leaf to flip from red to yellow, so we don't need to recolor it, just add some detail of skeleton. Now add detail to the transition frames the same way, keeping in mind that from the first frame we should see more and more yellow color to make the rotation realistic, and continue to finalize every frame. For the convenience, I decided to turn on alpha lock on all the layers at one time to speed up the process. When we are done, let's play the animation to see how it looks. Now I want to spice up the animation with a few simple effects. The first one will be the wind trace lines to show when the leaf accelerates. It will be a yellow line that follows the leaf, so let's get back our path guide layer. Go to the frame where the leaf starts accelerating. Turn off the alpha lock and draw a line behind the leaf on the path. Decrease the brush size and try one more time. Do the same thing on the next frame, but the line should be shorter. Do it shorter and shorter on the next frames until it completely disappears. Do the same thing for the rest of the animation. Let's play the animation. The last thing I wanna do is to add a glowing effect to the leaf. To do this, I will use the same technique as I did with the moon. Disable onion skin feature. Go to some frame in the middle and duplicate the layer. Group the original layer and the duplicate one. So we will have the same amount of frames, but the current frame will consist of 2 layers. Now hide the front layer. On the bottom layer, erase the trace line. Turn on alpha lock and recolor it with bright yellow color. Then disable alpha lock. Show the front layer. Having the bottom layer selected, click Magic Wand, Gaussian Blur and increase the effect. Now do this routine process for every layer. Here is the final animation. Hope you managed to follow the process. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Like and share this video to support my channel. See you in the next videos!